Hello. Oh boy. Here is the reverb again. 1 second. Let's go to the mixer. Okay. I'm not in a cave, I'm in a basement. Okay. Bypass. Oh. Still working. Ah, this is better. Okay, we are back again, and today it is again about Prisma and what we will do, because Sanguinea Project did send me some presets, so that's very cool. And yeah, I see some people already popping up in the chat room, so I hope you all are well. Okay, you see, always on top, you need to put that off. So strange. Here it is. So, yeah, I already linked them inside the YouTube info section below the YouTube. You will find this bank. You can download it and copy it. It has some very cool stuff. And last week we had talked about Prisma, in how you could use Prisma for composing music, because if you play a sequence in your track, and then you need to transpose, it's a lot of fiddling around. And if you are using Prisma to play around with the left section some sequence, and the right side a lead sound, you can compose first the song, and then you go to the next step and put everything into the main sequencer. So yeah, and Sanguinea did surprise me with he did send these presets, and one of them I'm playing now, and it's a very nice combination of an arpeggiator sound. He uses all the 4 layers, 3 times BIT, and Bluetooth. So if you would have that with a nice beat, so really very, very cool. Also uses the multi-control page, so if you use the mid strings, you can hear it gets louder, and you can change the layer 1 waveform. Let's see how that works. Mirror, so let's see what happens. Then it goes, I think, left, right. So he also uses the multi-control page, and I mentioned this a bit earlier, a few other streams, that if you want to use this multi-control page, you really should do this on the very last moment, because if you in the meantime change from preset, it gets a little bit messy, because it sometimes memorizes the distances. So so when I click here to original, it loads in again, and then I have again the original preset. So let's see the chat room. Oh, we have some people diving in. There are some. Tom, I see. Yeah, Tom, I received your song. I'm really amazed again that you created a new song, and hopefully the. I did not play it yet, but we will enjoy that, of course, at the end of the stream, as always in each live stream. Okay. Audio and reverb and video. Okay. Yeah. Each time I forget to shut off the reverb. I hope you guys you liked last week also the vocoder types thing we are working on. It's by far not released yet, but it's going to be out someday. And maybe it's another thing which I like to show you before we go to Prisma. Because we will release a new plugin hopefully at the end of this month of April surprise, and I will show you a little glimpse of it. So just to tease you what is inside of it. You see here, center and disrupt. What is it disrupting? So you see here a nice planet, and so this is going to be a new FX with in the center this disrupt thing, and yeah, it's going to be a very cool plugin. It's not part of the Explorer 6. It's a separate plugin. So keep an eye. Once, of course, we are sure when it's going to be released, I will play it for you and show some tricks. And it's planned for the end of April. So hopefully we get that done. The only thing what we are doing now is adding the final graphics, creating some presets, and then, of course, I need to do some video work. So it will be a plugin which allows you to move the Earth from a bit different position in space. Isn't that powerful? What you can do with a VST plugin, even moving the Earth in a different position. Most likely we get some weather changes because of that. Sometimes it will be freezing and then will be very hot. But yeah, you are in control then. So that's gonna pop up someday in end of April. April surprise. Okay, so shut it down. The no, it's not a sidechain. Haha. Yeah, I'm just teasing you guys. Hey, and Sanguinea is in the chat room. Cool to have you here, and I really enjoyed the presets. I just played the Saw Heaven, which I like very much. And actually, guys, let me tell you, I was playing this preset and suddenly I had a nice melody. And that is what I always do when composing. Of course, I'm regularly do some composing. Sometimes I simply play something and think, oh, this was nice. So I recorded before the live stream this chord with this sound, which I might gonna use in a future track. But yeah, that's what happens. You play something and think, oh, this is nice. Okay, let me play you a few bars of it, which is using this sound. Okay, so you hear a bit of it. It was in the other different chord play, but you heard it. So I play something and I think, oh, this is a nice melody, and then I straight away I record it. Otherwise I forget. So this was this part, and yeah, maybe someday this will pop up as a whole song. You never know. So, but that's a thing I can advise you. If you sometimes you have this little thing, you have a nice sound, and you play something and think, oh, this is cool. Then it's really important to record it. And in the past, I did this always with a cassette recorder played. It was a bit of a improvising. And then when I played some nice stuff, I know how I could reproduce it. So yeah, this is one of the Prisma sounds from Sanguinea Project, and as you noticed, I pronounced it pretty correctly. Okay, so he wrote, the presets. So this is what he wrote to me, and he said he split Athens, a left-hand arpeggiator with right-hand strings and 2 gator on top. So let's play this first preset. So if I go to the bank manager, if you copy over these banks, I think Sanguinea will be okay with that people can download it, I guess. Otherwise, let me know in the chat room, but most of the time you don't mind that people enjoy also your presets. So I did copy it over to the right folder. You see 10 Sanguinea Project and split Athens. So in total 13 presets. And this one has a split. So down here. And up here is a string. Okay, so maybe a bit louder. So here a little bit of a percussion in the background. So, and on top, on the right, you can play the solo. Oh, I see Sanguinea Project says, yeah, the presets are for free. Perfect. Very nice top sound. Choir inside it. So you hear the choir sound. I think it's floating in space from Prisma. This is Prisma, and he uses one preset from there. I can press solo. Nice. So this is the first preset, split Athens. So this is a Greek split sound. Let's go to the next one, and you see it needs to load in everything. Pat Tundra. It's also a combination. And here you have the option here to add more reverb. You really need to play this one longer because everything is moving around it. You hear that? More delays. Well, this is essentially a sound which should not play too many notes. I think if you have a single note, it sounds even better. So if you would have a beat in the background, you really could, with one note, you could really add a kind of atmospheric thing to a game or maybe a movie. Keeps on moving. Very cool preset. Pat Tundra. Let's go to the next one. One Sequentur. I think that one has a lot of sequence. Many sequences. And of course, what you can do yourself is, if you think it's maybe a bit too busy, just shut down one thing or two things. Or do it the other way, like this. Oh, this one uses chords. That's what I heard. It's a very complex sequence. So I think this with together. So you see, if I did this go-to, if I play this one solo, it's maybe make it a bit complicated to use this one because it uses chords. Major. So if I open now, go-to, you see here it has major, all kind of chords. And that makes it, of course, harder to use. So what I did so what also you can do is simply put that one off, or you change that one. But if you have the other ones like blade and punch, and we have this one, you have something which is not major or minor, which you also last time discussed in the last week chat live stream, that if you use Prisma for let's say a jamming, or that you would like to compose, then if you have sequences which have a major or minor melody, that's harder to improvise. Then it's maybe better to use a arpeggiator sound, or simply a sequence which doesn't have only octaves settings. I think this has sevenths and octave ones. But that's the cool thing about Prisma. If you think, okay, this is a bit too much, you simply can put it off. So this was one sequentour. Classic ARP, let's see that one. So many sounds going on. There are more voices, so this is the layer one. So yeah, that's of course, that's always with a preset. It's very often also a starting point. So I just put them off. So this is one very busy one. Now you have a totally different sound. So you hear that? So in some piece of music, maybe only two of these layers could be fantastic. And that's what I always encourage people. So if you have a preset, shut things down. Sometimes you run into something very nice. So if I use this one with the sequencer, which we have here, which is only bass. So yeah, that's the cool thing. Of course, if you play a sound solo with Prisma, then you sometimes you think, okay, there could something added to it. But if you would use Prisma then inside a music where a lot of is going on already, then it might be an idea to shut things down. And that's always something which you can do. That doesn't make this preset a bad preset. I think the original one is cool. But it depends on your music and what you want to do with it. So in some cases, it's simply as the original one. or you change it and you make it a bit more minimal, which you then use. And of course, you can change the volumes of the layers. So if I have here, because I was tweaking before, I was tweaking also because sometimes I have too much of the same background musics. So I did tweaked Predator a bit, which is this sound. And this sound. See a lot of sequence going on, and if we put on top this one, because I need to select it. So, and just simply try out things. So the other one, this is also nice, only Bluetooth. Hear that one? So that's cool about Prisma. Sometimes, pick one sound. If it works in your song, it works. So let's see if I put on this one. You could use reverb. Cool, isn't it? So the presets are always also a good starting point. So very nice. And of course, what I'm doing here, you can do also later on yourself with using Prisma. And indeed, a good point, Gerd Bruins mentioned, sometimes less is more. Definitely. In music, this is the truth. Okay, classic up that one we had. I go back to the manager. Okay. One funky. That's the next one. That one is a difficult one because it uses RG, and RG, if you have the 4 octaves. So if I play now in the first octave, I have a major groove from RG. If I play in the second octave, I have a minor 7. So this one is a very difficult one. Now, what I like to point out, so this is okay, not as good as it maybe could be preset, but that's not a problem. It's when you go to the layers, you see that if you go to the keyboard layout, oh, what's that? Okay, that one I need to shut down. Sorry. So if you see here, we have the keyboard layout. You see that once you use punch, you can put on the breaks and the groove. So once I hit a note, so let's play it solo. Groove 1, groove 2. Doesn't matter which note I play, it simply starts one of the grooves or sequences. There's no break. Let's see. So that one I could use. Let's see. I go off solo. I put on. Okay, so now I don't have this busy drum. It's a bit less busy now than it was before. But that's the thing with, because normally punch you would have 24 drum sounds here, and you can trigger a few notes with this range. But now with Prisma, we did it this way. If you use punch or punch 2, is that if you hit a note that you trigger, and here you can make the selection that you trigger one of the grooves or the breaks. So this one is cool, and yeah, RG makes it difficult because RG could be the wrong chord, and that's... Did someone say funky, Tom? Yeah. Yeah, Tom, this one has the funky name. It's a good one. So okay, let's go to the next one. So that one is a bit of a less preset, but yeah, we have plenty of great presets by... This is again with arpeggiators. Keeps on changing. A complex layer. So here we need to check what it's playing. That does scapes, okay. This one, arpeggiator sound, arpeggiator sound, arpeggiator sound. So also here, if you have this preset, you can say, okay, let's mute one. Let's see what happens. So it could well be that in your song, by using Prisma, that you only need 2 layers to make it. Or you use different ones. Change the... Let's see this one. So this you also, for instance, this one you could use in the intro, and then later on you could say only use these layers. It's sequence. I only want this stacked pad sound. So this Saw Heaven is great as a arpeggiator sound with the pad together. So let's make some noise here. So here's some sequence in the background. But it is also lovely pure as a pad sound. Yeah, lovely pad sound. So Saw Heaven, if you like this pad, shut down layer 2 and you have a lovely pad. I will use this one. It's really a brilliant layer. Very full sound. It's amazing. Very cool. Very nice patch for Prisma. Okay, and then we have gravity fields. Well, gravity, yeah, always works, isn't it? nice if you use the modulation wheel. Also here I can hear this phase pad, but it's of course what you need to keep in mind. Of course, if Prisma, it's using 4 instruments, so if you play too many notes, maybe it's a strain on your computer. This computer is already 8 years old, an i7, so here it works okay. There's no problem at all. But in my case, if you have maybe a lot next to it, that you need to audio record the sound, because essentially if you play this pad, which we did with this other sound, essentially you are playing 3 tracks at a time. So yeah, Gravity Fields, this one. Let's go to the next one. Split Party. Nice lead sound. Also really a stack sound, combining things. Also here you can, of course, what you can do yourself. Just try out. That's cool with Prisma. Simply shut down a layer and then think, okay, what sound is this? yeah, that's a good one. I saw this in the chat rooms. Sanguinea Project says, if somebody earns $1 million with my patches, please give me a coffee. I think you also get a cake next to it, or a nice dinner. And these are the other ones are the 80s ones. These are stack sound. A lot of vecto. If you would have this as a hardware synthesizer, let's say some years ago, it would cost a lot of money with this sound quality. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Moving sound, very nice. So the 80s are also very nice. My favorite is the last one from these sounds. This is number... guitar sound is from Vector. I'm not sure you were thinking about a guitar sound in this one. Not sure what you mean. It's an E-piano. Yeah, I just see this in the chat room, so I'm not sure what the question is. Of course, as mentioned, I was so clever to make this. I already put that in a zip, so you can download it. Okay, the last patch. Okay. Yeah, it's an E-piano, but maybe it's If you depends on how you play it, of course. A very nice layer sound. And also here you could say, okay, let's shut down. So, typical sound. Where is that coming from? Okay. I would expect that this sound, which is Predator 2, would be Vecto, because this sounds a bit like a vowel sample. Yeah, nice. You see, simply by shutting off and on. Yeah, very cool. Of course, I did not save any of the little changes. So, in this funky thing, which is maybe complicated to have the RG active, I shut it down. And in the Punch plugin, I went to the layers, and instead of let everything playing, I simply shut down a few of them, which made it a bit. Because in the original, you constantly heard the fill, which could be one of these breaks. Hear that? And I think that's maybe that one. So if I shut it down. So, but that's what you can do with the preset. And of course, yeah, we have some really gems inside this presets from Sanguinea Project. And of course, we already enjoyed some very cool presets of yours for Vecto, for instance. So, and also Go 2. So very cool. One of my favorites is indeed this this last one. I like really a lot. Yeah, many of them are nice. And this Saw Heaven is, of course, in two ways cool if you play it with the arpeggiator. But if you shut down Bluetooth from this, you have a fantastic layer pad sound by using BIT. Yeah, that's a good point. That's the cool thing about Prisma. Of course, you can use the multi-control base, but if you are inside Prisma, you still can add the presets. And if you save the preset, it's everything is saved. So if I would say, okay, let's go back here. A classic ARP. So I simply take one of the presets from. So I shut down this one. It's a choir. This is a. And I have this one. You hear this Predator 2 and Bluetooth? I can add a Predator 2. And you see Predator 2 has on the first step also a note, but that's not necessary because in this Prisma preset also Bluetooth is playing, and if that one has the 1, I can shut that one down, which is maybe interesting. Now I can add it, of course. So you see, I hit the note. So this is predator 2. So I'm going to go back to blue 2. You see here's blue 2. Let's see, it's the arpeggiator. Okay. That one has on the 1 note on. And now I put on the 3rd one. There's another blue. Also an arpeggiator. And I simply can change here again the so make far more complex sequences simply because you don't necessarily have to have a 1 on the sequence. So if I go back to this one again. And I think that Sun had the FX bypass only chorus. Yeah, that's good. So the delay is used by the internal Prisma FX. Now what is cool, maybe the low end of this one is maybe a bit too much. You can use a high pass filter. Okay, let's see. Then we had Vecto. It's a quiet sound moving around. Oh, I would edit this one maybe now a bit. So now you see, just by fiddling around, now I have a, based on the preset of, yeah, that could well be the Vecto, also a bit of high pass filter. Yeah, that's a good point. When I go to the layers, you have the EQ in each layer. Makes that it is more separate. So the low end of the Vecto pad sound, which is this sound, now it's too thin, but it will not interfere again. Well, a bit more separate from the So now in the blue, let's check, because I changed there the sound. The arpeggiator goes very high. I think it has a 4 octave. So let's... Okay, so yeah, you see, I did a lot of changes to it, but that's also what you can do. And if you have all the changes done in your synthesizers, you simply go here and save preset. I would give this then the name Classic ARP X, for instance, and everything is stored. So when I go here back to the Classic ARP, that was the original one from Sanguinea. And now we go to the variation, which is Classic ARP X, which is very similar, but has some little details. The difference is not that big, but yeah, it's just up to you, of course, how you want to use it. Okay, guys. Yeah, we had, of course, last week the discussion about my album, which I produced in 2004, and I did a link in the description. So if somebody asked me to talk about it, but of course there are a few songs on it, and maybe I'm not sure if he is in the chat room. But I have the link, and the link goes to this one, so you can play this album. And you see Daydreamer, there's Maranatha song, Sion Ephata, Evening Song. So if the guy is in the chat room, let me know which song you like that I need to discuss. And I will check it out. Of course, it's a little bit of work because it's already 16 years ago that I produced that song or album. But of course, if you are interested, want to ask something about this album, just let me know. Okay, I'm in the chat room. Okay. I'm looking in the chat room if there are any questions about Prisma. So keep in mind, if you have, of course, just like this one, this has 4 instruments loaded. It's the same as if you would use 4 tracks in your music host program. So keep that in mind in terms of CPU usage. Okay. Yeah, guys, we're almost, time flies, isn't it? So if you have a question about Prisma, just let me know. That will be cool. And ahead of the live stream, I was working a little bit on also tweaking around, because normally when I start the live stream, I think, okay, it's almost 8 o'clock, and then I start doing some little edits. I added here a different bass sound. Nice bass, isn't it? It's very dark, but you feel it more than that you can hear it. But it's a very it's bass punish 07, so So this one I changed, and I went to this preset and changed that one. It's very percussive. Then I changed this one. And also what I did, which is a little trick maybe you can do in your sequencer. What I sometimes do, and then you get some very interesting thing. If you have, for instance, a repeating blocks here, and with Cubase you can say, so you grab them all, and then you have here the grid, and the grid you can set to beat or even quantize. And sometimes if you use a sequence 1 or 2 beats or even shift it on a quantize, you suddenly get a very cool sequence. So I did that also with this sequence here. And so I was playing around, fiddling out, and they had this nice VIT piece. So yeah, let's see the questions about could you have a punch beat turn on and off in a Prisma track? What you could do is, of course, automation. So if the Prisma has one track drums, of course, if you hit a note, it starts triggering the beats. So then you need to automate this button here, this on-off button. Then you need to do some automation if you want to put it on-off. There's no other way to do it because, yeah, you see, once you have a... Okay, where was this preset? It was in the one funky. Let's go back to that one. If you go to the layers, you see here, this is punch. I also can use punch too. And the keyboard layout, you see, you can put on, if you hit one note, even one note is enough to trigger the grooves and the breaks. But of course, shutting it off, no, nothing plays, of course, but... So you need to automate this one if you want to have it on a later point. So that's an automation you need to do. So there's no way that you can use another trick to have the layer not playing. Blade 2 can be used in Prisma, and also quad. Sure, definitely. So it shows up. So here you have it, or quad, Blade 2. So you only need to download the latest version of Prisma to have them inside of it. So maybe you didn't load the latest version. Can you make a start delay on layer 2? Okay, that's a good question. I think we don't have that feature. We don't have a delay on a, that the layer plays a bit later. That we don't have. That popped up as an idea, but we did not add it yet. So this is the easy edit, which is essentially you select one of the parameters of Bluetooth or one of the parameters of RG or BIT. Yeah, definitely you need to upgrade because you also have this feature here where we have different scales. And in the last version, I think of Prisma, I also created some pads which are using. So that's the last thing what we also do. If you go to super pads, then you go order by date, which is also new. You have timer pad. It's loading. Using Blade 2 and quad. So this is in the manager. Also, order by date is new. Noisy pads in space. Figure that's very cold in space, but we have noisy pads in space. Nice sound, isn't it? Yeah. Vectorize Blade. That's another patch. We're using Blade 2 and Vecto. So simply download the latest version and you will be having fun, definitely. I think, not sure if that one is newer. Bedpad. Yeah, maybe in the other ones, maybe in the motion picture are some new ones. Order by date. Bring me home. That needs to load it. And if you go to the layers, you can see that punch is punch 2 and groove 1 is playing and break 4, and you can set things also to a velocity split. So this is a bush plane. That's an older one. Definitely. The dark mellow. Okay, let's see what that is. Yeah, that's a newer one. Blade 2 and Blue 2. Very dark sound. So that is new, so you can load in Blade 2 and all the latest thing, but different user interface sizes, and in the manager we have the order by date. If you click on this one, the last presets pop up in the upper part. SFX Blade Go X. Yeah, it should have a name, of course, and it's a nice end for a game. Yeah, great guys. So next week, if the let me know about the song from the album which you like me to discuss, and if you have other ideas, just let me know. And of course, yeah, you never know what pops up next week. We go out today again with a very nice song of Tom. It's called The Funny Farm. And he uses a lot of plugins, but also guitar. And yeah, let's enjoy it. Thanks again for watching. Big thanks to Sanguinea Project for his brilliant sounds for Prisma. Don't forget to download them and enjoy them. And enjoy making music. Also, thanks to Tom for another demo song. It's always fun and a surprise to have that at the end of the show. So stay safe. If you like this video, make it a thumbs up. And yeah, if you're maybe late in watching it, you always can watch it back in the playlist, live streams, and check it out. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe. And again, enjoy creating music. And we go out with The Funny Farm.